You might remember a video I made a while ago about Charles Dickens.
CD. You'll probably recognize some of his works.
And it was kind of terrible, so I kind of decided to create a new, better and improved, revised version since I'm reading another one of his novels, Great Expectations. And so, let's talk about the Victorian. No, let's not do that word. It's too annoying. Victorious. There's like no vibe to it. Victorious. Oh wait, hang on. Here you go. Writer. Haha. And you know what that means. Let's redo the whole biography of Charles Darwin. Let's get this started. Darkshawn presents Charles Darwin, the victorious writer. Ha 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 ha. Let's talk about Charles Darwin's life from the very beginning. Charles Darwin was born on February 7th of 1812. And for the first 9 years of his life, he basically lived in a small part of London in the countryside called Kent, England. And why just the first 9 years of his life? It was because eventually the family moved into London when he was like 9 years old. They moved to London, which is like right there. Right here. And it's pretty hard to think of it, right? I mean, it's pretty hard to actually get from like somewhere here all the way to here. And eventually, when they were in London, so beautiful, beautiful London, his dad landed in debtor's prison, which is where criminals who don't pay their debts go if, well, they don't pay their debts. Their mom arranged all of the children to go to debtor's prison and move into debtor's prison for some reason. I guess to be with the dad, but why in debtor's prison? I have no idea. But his mother actually arranged only Charles, for some reason, to go all the way to a blacksmith shop, like a blacking shop, because of a lot of reasons. The blacking shop, which is basically where you like paste labels and stuff. And everything here, like having pasting labels here, pasting labels here, was kind of a bad job and also wasn't paying much. And obviously, Charles hated it. And you know, like what he did eventually? Well, like this happened when he was like 12 years old. He moved to London when he was 9. And by the time his dad was freed, he could finally go back to school. And after going to school, he eventually got work to, he became a law clerk, then a court reporter. I guess that was the next best job. And finally, the job that we know him the most for, the novelist. And this is where we do a lot of the great stuff, and we find out the most best stuff ever. His first novel was called The Pickwick Papers, which actually was pretty popular and had a nice touch to it, to be honest. And it was also known as the posthumous papers of the Pickwick Club. And it was one of the most popular novels he ever got. And one thing I will mention more is that it is actually the thing that got him to success. Just like in his novel Great Expectations, where young Pip goes to a higher education just because he's like, yeah! He got money from an anonymous person. It's really nice, don't you think? And very, very touching to have one of the best people to give you some money and then you become a gentleman. How nice. That's kind of what happened to Mr. Charles Dickens, but instead of someone giving him a lot of money so that he goes up and his social status stuff, instead his first novel and his first book is the thing that kind of propels him to fame. And that's exactly what the whole thing is really about. And now let's talk about his kind of marriage first. His marriage, he was originally married to Miss Catherine Dickens, and that woman is one of the best women ever to actually have a wife for, in my opinion, because of a lot of reasons. One reason is that this woman has a lot of personality. However, Charles Dickens eventually got this other woman named Ellen Ternan, who, to be honest, is kind of younger and this, I guess you know what I'm talking about, and more attractive to him. So he decides, dumps his wife for her, but before he can marry her, he, dies of stroke, and he tries to save a manuscript of something, of his newest book, from a train that was wrecked, and, yeah. And he died on June 9th of 1870 because of stroke. Let me write that down for you guys. June 9th, 1870. That day he died of stroke. And he hadn't even finished the novel Mystery of Edwin Drood, and no one really knows if there was a murder or even if there was actually this mystery was solvable. No one, Charles Dickens didn't write on any notes about how to solve this. And so, R.I.P. Charles Dickens.